staff, journalists, athletic, children, and many other women whom felt where they were in danger. Since they arrived, we provide them with a temporary housing, meals, and healthcare, as well as providing vaccine for the emerging coronavirus. And I need to mention that all members of the Afghani Dreams, that's all girls robotic team from Afghan city of Herat, were safely evacuated to Qatar. They receive a scholarship from Qatar Foundation and Qatar Fund for Development to continue their education in Qatar Foundation universities, continuing to reflect Qatar's deep commitment to ensuring that children of all ages should enjoy the right of education. Qatar has dispatched a technical assistant team to repair and reopen Kabul airport. As assistance is underway, we have not yet reached any long-term agreement regarding the management and operation of this airport. What has been fixed so far at Kabul airport enable the airport to receive a private charter flights, noting that humanitarian flights are used as a test of the airport readiness, and number of the criteria have been identified that must be met, especially with regard to the security aspect in order to use the airport in a traveler flight, which need an agreement with Taliban and is under negotiation. Qatar sent 5 airplanes loaded with the relief aids. A total volume reached 118 tons of medical and food materials. His Excellency, the Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman, has met recently several foreign ministers such as Iran, Pakistan, Turkey, Russia, and Afghanistan, United States, Britain, Germany, France, Italy, Spain, and recently he has the phone discussion with the Malaysian Foreign Minister to discuss about continuing of the Doha effort to support the stability of Afghanistan. His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed reiterated Qatar's solidarity with Afghani people and support for their efforts to achieve their legitimate demands for stability, security, peace, and development. We in Qatar believe that comprehensive and sustainable peace is the main key to stopping the humanitarian crisis, and that it is also critical to achieving all sustainable development goals, which is related to the quality of education and a lifelong learning opportunity for all. Qatar encourage all the transitional government and Afghani leader to form more intensive government that represent everyone. Qatar conveyed the importance of respecting human rights and the vital role of Afghani women in the development of Afghanistan. It is unacceptable for us to see any mistreatment of women in Afghanistan, and it cannot be tolerated to see Afghanistan transferring again to be a breeded ground for the terrorist organization. We invite the current government to follow the lead of many Islamic countries, including Qatar, where women fully and constructively exercise their right and represent the largest segment of the workforce in the country. as women enrollment in higher education. The state of Qatar encouraged the Taliban government to interact with the international community in the various aspects, particularly the political and economic aspect. We emphasize the importance of to continue support of the international community to Afghanistan at this critical stage, and to separate the humanitarian aids from a political difference, the necessary of continuing dialogue with the Taliban to bring about positive result. Thank you very much.
Thank you, His Excellency, for your remarks. Of course, we believe that Qatar play a bigger role and vital role in this aspect. Even you are in, of course, you can consider as a small country, but your role is indeed very significant. We would like to proceed with our second ambassador who are here with us, Her Excellency Madam Amna Baloch. I would like to introduce her. He's born in 1966. His education background is basically hold a degree of master in history, joined the Foreign Service of Pakistan in 1991. She joined the Foreign Service of Pakistan since that, 1992-1994, section officer, and basically I would say that his diplomatic assignment to Pakistan mission abroad, including to China, some of other countries, and he's also assumed a charge as the post of High Commissioner of Malaysia on 19th of August 2019. So without further ado, I would like to invite Her Excellency to give her view on this. Thank you.
Unmute, Her Excellency.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Fahmi. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon, everyone. At the very outset, I would like to congratulate Global Peace Mission Malaysia and the organizers of the KL conference for holding today's webinar and inviting me to speak on a subject of immense importance. Ladies and gentlemen, it would be an oversimplification if I only refer to the historical context of Pakistan-Afghanistan relations. Yes, being immediate neighbors, we share a long history, but there is more to these ties, as both countries have strong ethnic linkages, share common religion, tribal links, culture, values. We are not only neighbors, rather we are brothers and sisters. Today, Pakistan is a home to almost 4 million Afghan refugees and has remained so for the last 4 decades. They enjoy legal status in Pakistan despite economic constraints. The government of Pakistan continues to provide due rights for Afghan refugees, including access to health and education. Afghan refugees are a part of all social and economic activities in Pakistan. As the closest neighbor, Pakistan is an important stakeholder and has always strived for peace and stability in Afghanistan. The country that suffered the most, apart from Afghanistan, is Pakistan over the past 40 years. 80,000 Pakistanis lost their lives. $150 billion were lost to our economy. There are 3.5 million internally displaced Pakistanis. Pakistan remained the target of terrorism during the past 20 years. A war was waged on the people and the soil of Pakistan for no fault of theirs. Ladies and gentlemen, past 1 month has witnessed historical developments in Afghanistan. In early August, no one could have anticipated the turn of events, from the meltdown of security forces to the collapse of the Afghan government. As we meet today, there is a changed political reality in Afghanistan. It would not be incorrect to say that we are at a historical crossroad, and choosing the correct course is vital for peace and stability in Afghanistan. A future outcome will have profound implications for our region and world at large. Therefore, it is time to realize and seize this historic opportunity. The role of regional and global players, as well as Afghans themselves, is crucial at this stage for shaping the future of the country. As a part of world community, we must realize that Afghanistan is at the brink of a humanitarian catastrophe. We have all seen the reports of famine, food shortages, and soaring inflation in Afghanistan. Therefore, the key priority is to prevent a humanitarian crisis that can aggravate the sufferings of the Afghans. It cannot be stressed enough that this requires enhanced engagement of international community, particularly at this pivotal juncture. A sluggish response from the international community can cause grave humanitarian consequences. Therefore, international community should join hands to provide sustainable financial support to alleviate the sufferings of Afghan people in line with the principle of international responsibility. Denying Afghanistan access to its foreign reserves, enforcement of sanctions, and other restrictive measures will only add to the miseries of the people who have already suffered immensely. It is in our collective interest that our actions do not make economic migrants of millions of Afghans. At the same time, the world should also remain cautious against the possibility of incitement and role of spoilers, both inside and outside Afghanistan, to derail efforts for peaceful Afghanistan. Ladies and gentlemen, it is also important to understand that the primary stakeholders are Afghans themselves. Afghan leadership need to take the responsibility to ensure a safe and prosperous future for the people and the country. It is very encouraging to note that Taliban have included other stakeholders, that is Tajiks, Hazara, and Uzbeks in the expanded government. Taliban need to involve and engage all representatives of the people of Afghanistan to ensure continuation of peace and avoid eruption of civil war. At the same time, Taliban should honor their commitments to Afghans and international community. For example, amnesty for all, not allowing Afghan soil to be used against others, and respect for human rights, especially the women and children rights. Understandably, regional countries and the neighbors of Afghanistan also carry immense responsibility, being the most important stakeholders after the Afghans themselves. The entire region will suffer if we do not get it right this time. It is very encouraging to note that regional countries have realized the opportunity and are working together in tandem. It is imperative that the regional countries continue their engagements aimed at delivering a holistic, comprehensive, and harmonized response. Ladies and gentlemen, Prime Minister of Pakistan has a deep understanding and insight into the matters relating to Afghanistan. He has always maintained that there was no military solution to Afghan issue. Rather, working towards peace, a political solution should be sought. Ever since the announcement by the US government to withdraw its troops from Afghanistan, Pakistan has been calling for a vigorous international diplomacy in support of an inclusive settlement in Afghanistan. Now, I would like to highlight some outreach efforts of Pakistan in this regard. In line with its vision of a stable and unified Afghanistan through an inclusive political settlement, Pakistan reached out to Afghan leaders across the entire political spectrum. Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi has embarked upon a hectic diplomatic outreach since August. He visited Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Iran, and held extensive discussions with the leadership of these countries on common concerns and the need for a regional approach. It was also an honor for Pakistan to receive numerous high-level delegations in Islamabad as well, to discuss, understand, and coordinate action on the evolving situation in Afghanistan. Foreign Minister Qureshi also hosted and chaired a ministerial meeting with neighboring countries of Afghanistan on 8th of September. The meeting was attended by China, Iran, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan, and subsequently a joint statement was issued that aimed at helping Afghanistan. Recently, special envoys of China, Russia, and Pakistan for Afghanistan visited Kabul and held meeting with Taliban leadership. In line with instructions of Prime Minister, presently extensive consultations are being held by Foreign Minister Qureshi in New York at the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly. On its part, Pakistan has been supporting the humanitarian efforts in Afghanistan in several ways, facilitating the international evacuation effort and establishment of a humanitarian corridor for the delivery of relief goods through air and land routes. Pakistan has sent 4 plane loads of humanitarian assistance comprising food and medicines for the people of Afghanistan. In conclusion, I would like to reiterate that today's Afghanistan presents an important opportunity to the world. The recurring cycles of conflict and instability during the last 4 decades can finally be stopped through collective efforts. Past mistakes must not be repeated, and the Afghans must not be abandoned this time. The new situation requires discarding old lenses, developing new insights, and proceeding with a realistic and pragmatic approach. At the center of our endeavors must remain the well-being of the people of Afghanistan, who have suffered enormously due to conflict and instability for past 40 years. I thank you all.
Unmute your. Cannot hear you.
Yes, we can hear you. Fahimi?
We still cannot hear you, Fahmi.
I can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh yes, yes, we can hear you. Very good.
And we have around 30 minutes for the discussion. So I would like to first start this session to Associate Professor Dr. Isharaf. Please, unmute, sir. Please, Doctor, you just directly ask your question so that we can have other participants to ask questions.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Are you hearing me? Is okay?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. I would like to thank the 2 honorable ambassadors, one from Qatar and another from Her Excellency from Pakistan. Both countries have contributed lots significantly to peace, stability in Pakistan, Afghanistan. It is remarkable for Muslim world as well as whole world. But I would like to make 2 questions to both of them. In our previous session, the Madam Fauzia appealed to Muslim countries, particularly OIC, to give proper solidarity. And she also said it is the moral duty of Muslim country to give solidarity, cooperation, and others. Although we are observing, we are seeing that Pakistan, Qatar have been working lots for this purpose, and Her Excellency mentioned. Now my question to High Commissioner of Pakistan and also to Qatar, will you take a special initiative to engage other members of the Muslim country and OIC to help immediately in line of your action for Afghanistan? Such an initiative can be done, the convene a special conference of OIC. Particularly, I would like to make a question to Ambassador of Qatar. Pakistan already has taken initiative to engage the neighboring countries. They engage already 4 other neighboring countries. But do you have any plan to engage other prominent Muslim countries like Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, from the Middle East to help in line of EU and Pakistan to take some urgent initiative for Afghanistan. Today we are observing the Malaysia already in line. Malaysian government is working hardly to engage itself for providing necessary cooperation, solidarity, and assistance. So this is a particular question to of them. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I would like to first collect the question from the participant so that both our ambassador would prepare and answer the question directly after this. Dr. Ahmad El-Muhammadi and Dr. Muhammad Zain Kandar. Then we continue with both answer from His Excellency. So Dr. Ahmad El-Muhammadi, please.
Thank you very much. First, I would like to thank Her Excellency Amna for the role of Pakistan in bringing peace to Afghanistan. I have seen that Pakistan have suffered a lot, of course, 20 years ago during 9/11, and after that it has suffered the consequences of being a partner with the United States. Pakistan has been subjected to attacks from various internal groups inside Pakistan itself, but it's still continue committed to the mission of peace. I congratulate you for that. I'd like to address the question to the Ambassador of Qatar. We also have seen Qatar has playing a key role in Middle East these days. It's in my opinion that Qatar has taken what they call swimming against the tide, while other people are turning away from groups such as Taliban, but Qatar is taking the position of engaging with Taliban as well as Pakistan. What actually the motivation of Qatar? What is the what they call the purpose of Qatar engaging with this kind of group? Is it because of Qatar has seen the potential in this group to be the partner of peace? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmad El-Muhammadi. Now, Dr. Muhammad Zain, please. Unmute you first, sir.
The organizer, okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, very good speech, and we would like to thank both our ambassadors of both countries, which is already involved in very good support to Afghanistan people. And I'm representing universities, academics, and as well as I'm chairman of ISCO, International Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization of Malaysia. We work basically with other foundation and several countries, helping needy countries that in conflict to support education, sponsorship for scholarship to study in Malaysia. I would like to suggest that to help, apart from moral support and humanitarian, and maybe we could think of how could we help Afghanis youth to further their study in Malaysia, as we know that we have very good infrastructure, very good institution in Malaysia that can offer to them, but we need to work together between NGOs like NGOs as well as agencies either in Malaysia or outside Malaysia. ISCO have worked together with some foundation in Qatar as well as Kuwait, and maybe we could further this cooperation to help Afghanis youth to study in Malaysia so that they can build up their country in future, inshallah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Muhammad Zain. So I would like to hand over to His Excellency first. Fahad, Kafoud, please, sir.
Well, thank you very much. I hope that I can remember the question because I couldn't able to write it. Maybe I can start with the last question regarding the cooperation that we call it in between our NGOs in Qatar with the Malaysian friend to work together in Afghanistan. I think this is a very good idea. We need to work and together even to reduce the cost of the operation and to let more people to get the benefit of our efforts. Personally, receiving a student in Malaysia is a very good opportunity, but I believe that we need to think seriously to do something inside Afghanistan, because that means much more people will get the benefit of this effort. Like I don't know, building schools there, or help the teacher, or what they call it, like teaching the teacher there. I believe that this effort will be more important than just receiving very few numbers of students, especially, you know, with the pandemic situation now. So it is not easy to move between country to country. So I prefer, and suggest my personal view, to focus to work inside Afghanistan more. Maybe the second question about Qatar efforts to help our brothers and sisters in Afghanistan for the peaceful situation. As I mentioned in my speech, it took a long time, roughly 7 or 6 years, back and forth discussion. We didn't select maybe you can call that Taliban, they trust us. You can put it in this way. Sometimes the negotiation is like up and down, doesn't make a straight line. Sometimes it was like suspended for many reasons. We as in our experience in many issues, we believe in open dialogue. We don't believe in boycott any group or any country. If there is anything, we have to sit on the table and discuss in a frank way. Sometimes we don't like each other, but we have to sit and face to face on the table and to discuss. We are doing our best to help the Taliban group now to settle them down. I know there's a lot of issues like women right, and we raise it with them. We discuss about that during His Excellency, my minister, when he visited Kafoud. And I think they understood this subject, but I don't know, maybe they need more time. I'm not here to defend them. I'm working here in Malaysia more than Kabul, so the Afghani files, to be frank, it's not my first file to focus. But we, as I mentioned, you can when Qatar became like a hub for the peace process, I am proud about my country, and we will continue this effort. I don't know if you're aware that most of the embassies who work in Kabul now, they are working in Qatar, in Doha, and we receive mostly all the key country foreign minister. They visit Qatar, and they had like kind of direct or indirect talk with the Taliban office in Doha. So we are doing our best. I don't have a lot of information to be frank with you about what's going on now. And regarding other countries, I believe that other countries, they send a lot of human aids. It's not only Doha. I don't want to be only the superhero here in this issue. There's other countries. I think they are working in their way. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sensi. Thanks. I would like to proceed to her, Sensi. Please, maybe you have something to respond.
I would like to say that we are very happy to note that Malaysia has taken an initiative to address the humanitarian crisis that is rising in Afghanistan, and Malaysia is engaging actively in the situation on ground. So people of Malaysia and the government of Malaysia must be congratulated on that. And we are very encouraged by the response of the Malaysian people. So this shows that the Muslims across the world, they understand the pain and the difficulty of their brothers and sisters in Afghanistan. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And of course, I think based on the conversation that we have currently, we see that Pakistan also hosting a large number of Afghan refugees for so many years, I think for almost generation, and granting access to some services as well. And I think by the assistance from our friendly country like Pakistan, assist our humanitarian mission who are now safely in Kabul. So I would like to open up the another session for the question and answer. So perhaps I would like to give to Muhammad Alim. Please unmute yourself.
Fahmi, there is a disturbance on your end.
Brother Muhammad Alim, Aiman?
Yes, sure. Hi, Assalamu alaikum. I would like to have a comment of Afghanistan. From my point of view, that in the very near future, Taliban must prioritize the security sector reform because they should differentiate the role of civil police and the role of army in the country. Because right now the country is in the military situation, so there is not a specific rule for police and the army. And for more information, the Taliban movement actually it is the combination of three types of fighters or commanders. Number first, they are clergies, mostly in the leadership. They receive the traditional, in certain extent recently, the secular educations also. Number second is the nationalist or patriotic movements. Nationalist movement, Afghanistan, some of the previous Mujahideen. So the third factor or the third fighter, the characteristic is mostly armed groups, criminal gangs, or some of the tribal groups who are emerged because of the social grievances. In my previous experience, I worked in the local government in Afghanistan. We used to see the situations like in some of the time that there was some criminals or gangs. Once they committed a guilt or a crime in the society, they will find refuge in the arms of the Taliban fighters. So right now the point I'm coming here is like Taliban. They should uphold these people. If they are coming to the city with the grudges, with that criminal minds, they will definitely harm the society. So through these things, actually, Taliban can lose their legitimacy. Also, we should not ignore that Taliban has the local legitimacy. However, they lack the external legitimacy. Yeah.
So your question, Brother Ali?
Well, this was a comment actually for Taliban government, and besides that, I really appreciate the Malaysian initiatives. Malaysian government's initiative for launching this conference, and I hope there will be more of these conferences, these initiatives to build to rebuild the Afghanistan. Thank you very much. That was my
Thank you so much. I think Brother Alim, directly from Kabul. Next,
So
brother,
I'm in Malaysia. I'm talking from Malaysia. I'm doing my postgraduate studies
because
University of Malaya.
your background and your voice is like you are in Kabul. Sorry. Okay, next I would like to proceed with brother Jason Leong. Then I came to brother Rashid Zaman from Bangladesh. Then we continue the response from our ambassadors. Thank you, brother Jason.
Thank you very much, brother Fahmi, for the opportunity to speak. I just want to make a very quick suggestion. You know, the whole conference that we have today is entitled the Kuala Lumpur KL Conference on Afghanistan, Re-Emergence of a Nation. I just hope that this conference will not just be a talk only and no action kind of conference. Let this conference distinguish itself, differentiate itself as a conference that has got a solid action plan. So my suggestion, the Minister of Foreign Affairs has kicked off a brilliant maneuver when he appointed Brother Azam as his special advisor on Afghanistan. And congratulations also to the team by GPM that is already in Kabul on the ground, establishing re-establishing the NGO relationship. I think the next thing that we should look at is actually Malaysia has that expertise. Malaysia was a nation that was formed in a hurry, and many nations too, as I think Tan Sri Syed Hamid mentioned, many MPs in England felt that Malaysia is going to be a failed state, you know, experimental state, and we will never succeed. But we have proven people wrong. You know, we have some experience in nation building, and we have some experience in quick, fast-track nation building. So I think Malaysia should provide some kind of strategic advice to the Taliban. If at all GPM can now start to engage with them and volunteer our services as a strategic advisor on how to rebuild a nation immediately in this aftermath. So next thing is that from there, perhaps we should, because the economic scenario in Afghanistan is very severe and very grim, and they need to establish trade relations immediately. So the first thing that we can do actually to help them is for Malaysia to establish a trade office there and to begin to continue our bilateral trade relations. There's not much trade in the past few years between Malaysia and Afghanistan, but I think we can do a lot more. And then at the same time too, you know, work within a 12 to 18 months kind of time frame towards diplomatic recognition of the interim government of Afghanistan, so that there can be international recognition for them. This is important because I put in the chat, the IMF has released 200 million out of 600 million aid designed and allocated for Afghanistan. They have held back 400 million. Why? Because they say there is not enough international recognition for Afghanistan. Therefore, we do not want to release the rest of the money. So this is becoming a chicken and egg kind of situation. You know, you can't release the money because there's no recognition. You don't recognize them, then you're not going to get money. So which comes first? I think Malaysia, as a non-superpower, we can actually play a role that is, we punch above our weight in a global arena. Let us be an early mover, like what we did for China way back in 1970s, where Tun Razak visited China, and that established that goodwill, the great goodwill of relationship that establishes until even now. So let us perhaps learn from there and do this fast, give them the recognition as fast as possible. And the rest of it, the governance, the inclusivity, let them sort it out. You know, it is their nation. It is the nation building process. It will take many, many years for them to sort it out, but I think they will. Thank you.
Thank you to Brother Jason. I think indeed your insight is very meaningful for us also to understand that what we are doing now is not merely towards the conflict based on religion, based on races, but at the same time, I believe that by your involvement, your participation together with us, indeed represent that this conference belongs to the Malaysian General for the beneficial of the Afghanistan people at large. So Brother Rashid Zaman will be the third participant to ask the question before we move out to our ambassador to respond from the comment by our participant. Please, very short and precise, Brother Rashid Zaman. Unmute yourself.
First of all, I'd like to offer thanks to ZPM, which has taken a very good initiatives to organize this webinar on Afghanistan. And I also thank Brother Azam Abdul Rahman, who has been appointed advisor to Afghanistan to play a role on behalf of Malaysia. I also thank the two panelist speakers, ambassadors of Qatar and Pakistan, and they highlighted the overall situation. That means so far, that means Taliban government, Talibans have already formed government, and they have reached up to this point. To reach this point, that means Qatar and Pakistan played a very vital role to form this sort of government. Now, my question, I believe it is very difficult to make a balance, because facing the challenges of the superpower, neighboring countries, and all other countries, there are many interests related to their own countries, and that means countries between Afghanistan and other countries. So how far this government can manage and make balances. Another question, USA has passed a resolution to extend and expand humanitarian help to Afghanistan. Though there are bans on many issues on Afghanistan. So how far will it be helpful and convenient, and that means on behalf of Afghanistan, how far will it be beneficial to take the help of USA? Because USA occupied this country long 20 years and destroyed many establishments and lives and deaths, etc. So these are my questions and comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Zaman. Please, Her Excellency first, if you have any comment. Madam Amna? Madam Amna, okay. You can unmute first, Madam. Madam Amna, can you unmute yourself? Yeah. Okay, please.
Yeah, I will, on the issue of trade and economic relations, and I, of course, welcome the idea that was, I think, given by Jason Leong, that Malaysia should look into the possibility of opening a trade office, if not in Kabul, then at least it can be done in Islamabad initially. And that will pave the way for greater economic activity. I would like to take this opportunity to also share with you all that Pakistan offers a transit trade facility for Afghanistan. And currently, a significant amount of trade is taking place through Pakistan to Afghanistan. Yes, it would be beneficial for the Afghans in the long run to develop their own sustainable economy that will create self-reliance for the people of Afghanistan, and they would not have to depend on others for their needs and requirements. So, but at the moment, as we all can see, that the situation is quite fluid. And there is an urgent need to address the food issues. And as this morning, we also discussed that winter is coming, and which would, of course, make the situation more difficult for the people of Afghanistan in the days to come. So We can start by, of course, as brothers and sisters, all countries can chip in. There is a United Nations initiative of humanitarian assistance, whereby Malaysia has already pledged $100,000 to the initiative. So I think it would be, in the short run, I see it as humanitarian assistance going into Afghanistan to address the immediate needs. And then in the medium and long run, we can look into putting the Afghan economy back on its feet. If there's any other question, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Her Excellency. I was informed that currently, after the negotiation with the interim government and also the Islamabad, Pakistan has lifted the 70% tax it had imposed on Afghanistan fresh fruit export. So I think what the government can do is basically to ease and to give somehow new dimension towards the cooperation between both countries. So I would like to give some space to His Excellency, Mr. Fahad Kafoud, if you have something to comment from the participant views just now.
Yeah, I think, first of all, I just want to mention that my office is open for anybody or any NGOs who want to work with Qatar regarding the providing the human aids in Afghanistan. And as Her Excellency, she mentioned that the winter is coming, so I think, and people there, they will start to suffer a lot. So any kind of partnership between the Qatari side and Malaysian side, we will be very happy to discuss about it. There is a lot of ideas how we can work, how we can, but still I'm encouraging the Malaysian side to start the dialogue with the Taliban government, listen to them, give them some advice. Sometime they need your advice, even that through the official channel or unofficial channel. We are doing our best, as I mentioned, from Qatar. We received 60,000 people who evacuated, and we help a lot of them to go to their final destination. Some of them still in Qatar, and some of we emerge some of them in our education system and health system. Just I want to do it in short way. We will be very happy to receive or to discuss of any idea about how we can work together to help these people. Thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency. Now we reach to the end of the session, but probably there is a request coming from our participant who still wanted to discuss with His Excellency. Maybe perhaps they want to also give some overview. So this will be the last round, the session of Q&A before we end this session. So I would like to first give the floor to Brother Gul Badshah Safi. I think he's from Afghanistan, currently in Peshawar. So please, Brother Gul Badshah Safi. Unmute yourself first. And after this, we're going to have Brother Abdul Rahim. Brother Gul Badshah? If not, we're going first to Brother Abdul Rahim. Please, brother.
Yes, Assalamualaikum.
Yes. Waalaikumsalam.
Can you see me, or I should?
I cannot see you, but your voice is clear. You can proceed.
Okay, so alhamdulillah, the very informative and very large deep information, especially from His Excellency Fahad, Kafoud, and His Excellency Amna, Baloch. So actually the first one thing is just recently the Deputy Chairman of the Security Council of the Kyrgyz Republic, Talat Begmasadikov, visited Kabul. And he's met the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Taliban, Amir Khan Muttaqi. He is the first who is visited from the Central Asian countries for the, to recognizing, just making some establishing of the cooperation with the Taliban. So in this term of, I would like to have a question to both of the ambassadors. So what do you think about the role of the Central Asian countries, especially Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan, in this peace talk negotiations? Please, your opinion.
Thank you. I would like also to invite Professor Insigne Dr. Ahmad Faizul. Professor Insigne Dr. Ahmad Faizul, because you are Brother Gurbashar also, you ready now? Please. Okay, Professor Insigne Dr. Ahmad Faizul. Please, Prof. Proceed.
Okay, thank you very much. My question to His Excellency is about the trust of the people of Afghanistan, especially under Taliban rule, towards the foreign countries now. I think in the past 20 years, maybe most of the development was in the urban areas with huge investment from US and EU countries. But now it seems that the rural people are still underdeveloped, and they are beginning to realize that they have been ruled by Taliban. But the problem is, as before, from my experience with Abim 20 years ago, when we were there, the Afghan people, they only trusted certain people, and they mistrust a lot of foreigners, especially the Europeans. They even burned some of the UN aid vehicles because of mistrust. So how do Muslim countries develop this trust from the Afghan people, especially the Taliban, who represent the rural people, and the rural people form the main class of the Afghan people? That's my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I would like to give to Her Excellency Amna Baloch to respond, and perhaps you can conclude your session today, please. You need to unmute first, madam.
Sorry, I keep doing that. Okay. So the first question pertained to the role of Central Asian countries in the peace process. We have seen that the Central Asian countries are already engaged in the developments that are taking place in Afghanistan, because we all are important stakeholders, whether we are from Central Asia or whether we are from South Asia or we are from Middle East. It is very important for us to ensure that peace comes to our region, because the dividends would be high for everyone. Some of the Central Asian countries, as we know, that they're landlocked. With the settling down of Afghanistan, the trade can smoothly take place, and it will be economically beneficial for all. It will alleviate poverty from the region. And these are the main issues that are being faced by the people of these regions. So, so I can see that Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, especially those countries that are bordering Afghanistan, they're involved, and they are very active in pursuing all objectives that pertain to bringing sustainable peace in Afghanistan. So having said that, I think the next question, sorry, can you please help me recall the question? That was the last question. There was one on the role of Central Asian countries in the peace process, and my brother who spoke the last.
Professor?
My question was about the trust of the Afghan people, especially the trust. How do you develop a trust, their trust towards us, towards the Muslim and towards the foreign countries for trying to help them? If they do not trust us, I think they will not accept us, no matter what we try to give them.
Brother, trust is something that has to be gained over a certain period of time. It is not something that can be achieved overnight. Especially during the COVID, we have all seen that whenever there is a crisis, we become suspicious of the foreigners. So there is a crisis in Afghanistan, and to tell you the truth, they have all the reason not to trust people, because their country remained a victim of terrorism and so many hardships over the past 40 years. So this trust will come with the passage of time, and trust will develop when the words are matched with the actions. So there's a heavy responsibility as the neighbors of Afghanistan, and then as members of Muslim Ummah and the international community, that our actions should match our words. That is how the trust will develop.
Thank you. Now I'm giving the floor to His Excellency Fahad Kafoud to respond and give your conclusion remark.
Well, I don't have a lot to add to my sister, Her Excellency. She already spoke about it. Only Dr. Ahmed, when he mentioned that
recording stopped.
The Afghani cannot trust the Western country. It's good opportunity for Muslim country like Malaysia to work.
Recording in progress.
To start working there. I'm happy that Global Peace and Mercy Malaysia already started providing human aids there, but we need to continue. They need your not only to send some urgent medical equipment. It's also they need your experience. They need your help. Maybe I forgot to mention that when we re-operate the Kabul airport, we co-work with the Malaysian company. They help us to reopen the airport. So this is one example of what Malaysia can do, providing the security. Now maybe the security is very important. Their stability is very important. So they need to listen to you. It's not about just a batch, send a number of batches or a couple of tons of food aids. They need your help. They need your experience. Thank you, Raj.
Thank you so much to Ambassador from Pakistan and Qatar. While we're having a discussion, of course, we received many information and many updates from those I think previously have done many significant effort to help and assist our dear brother in Afghanistan. For your information with me right now is one of the books published in 1989. The title of this book is Dawn for a New Era, published by Angkatan Belia Islam Malaysia, ABIM. And at the same time also we received many information saying that MADI also. MADI is basically our agriculture agency who are doing some project to assist Afghanistan in 2010 and 2011 with the funding from International Development Bank. But with regard to this issue also, I received pictures saying that a technical mission, a meeting with the Professor Abdul Rasul, Prime Minister of Afghanistan, during that time in 1991, and the paper from the Tenaga Nasional, I think Brother Jamaluddin, who was the previous moderator just now, I think he also did involved in this, the reconstruction of electricity supply infrastructure of Afghanistan. So this is basically somehow we say that we need to do something as a friendly countries, as a Muslim brothers and sisters. Most importantly for us, we believe that we must stop the irresponsible policy of imposing so-called alien values from the outside. This is basically in line with the statement made earlier by our Foreign Minister, Dato' Saifuddin Abdullah. He said that two important points that we should we should not repeat the same mistakes of others by imposing our views on Afghanistan. Secondly, he mentioned that we should not allow another superpower to invade Afghanistan due to its rich resources. Thus, we believe that by having Kuala Lumpur conference today is very significant. Malaysia is doing something that is very significant with regard to our country. We try to re-establish the new Afghanistan and the engagement and collaboration with various stakeholders like academicians, activists, NGOs, international platform like OIC, UN, to establish lasting peace in Afghanistan. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to inform that we are trying, on behalf of the organizer, we try to get our team now in Kabul to be live together with us so that they can somehow give us some fresh update from the ground. But unfortunately, due to technical issue, perhaps they could not join us, unfortunately. But we will update our program activities to our Facebook page, Global Peace Mission Malaysia, as well as our partners on the ground together with Muslim Volunteer Malaysia who are together with us. So once again, I would like to extend our gratitude and thanks to both ambassadors from Pakistan and Qatar. Hopefully, we can have more engagement, more interaction, and your insight basically is very informative for us to understand your country roles in terms of helping and assisting Afghanistan. Brothers and sisters, I think the session almost finished. Before we give and I hand over the session to the President of ABIM, Brother Muhammad Faisal Abdul Aziz, on behalf of the organizing committee, we would like to read out our recommendation, our solution for this today KL conference on Afghanistan. So if that's okay with every one of you, I think this is basically from the discussion that we have throughout the day. We are trying, maybe perhaps we can publish another round, another version of book, Afghanistan, Dawn of New Era, perhaps for the next publish with the we call story from the ground, especially from our mission who are now in Kabul. I would like to read out the Kuala Lumpur recommendation or draft of Kuala Lumpur Conference on Afghanistan 2021. We observe and recognize the challenges faced by the new governments of the Islamic Emirates of Afghanistan. The most important being the formation of an inclusive and functional government that can effectively provide for the people their basic needs, peace and security, and begin the long process of reconstruction and development of the economy, while at the same time managing the different ethnic and tribal groups, notwithstanding the foreign powers that have vested interest in resource-rich and strategic Afghanistan. We congratulate the Afghan people for the outstanding success in gaining independence again with an Afghan-led, Afghan-owned, and Afghan-controlled government. We applaud the tenacity and courage of Afghan people to press for freedom and self-determination. It's our fervent hope that this opportunity can be translated into a master plan of action to bring about a prosperous, inclusive, and peaceful Afghanistan. We support the effort to bring about lasting peace and security in the region. We acknowledge highly positive sign of Islamic Emirates of Afghanistan engagement with the rest of the world to highlight a new narrative of inclusiveness, peaceful coexistence, and moderation. This narrative is indeed crucial in countering certain government and Western media with ulterior motive to demonize the new government with succumbing to Islamophobia. Within this context, we, the major civil society organization, academicians, former diplomats, and youth of Malaysia gathered at the Kuala Lumpur Conference on Afghanistan on 26th of September 2021 in conjunction with our anniversary 20 years of Global Peace Mission undertake to recognize first Islamic Emirates of Afghanistan as a sovereign nation with its own distinctive identity, culture, and political system. It is of paramount importance for us to acknowledge the concept of Afghan-led, Afghan-owned, Afghan control. An inclusive functional government should be given the space to implement a smooth transition. Second, Afghanistan will need a proper reconciliation platform with a few successful models available, such as Malaysia and others, to dissect and construct a model best suit. A new state based on Islamic principle must avoid structural barriers that affect the advancement of the nation. A commitment to engage the Afghanistan government based on the principle of promotion of peaceful coexistence. We urge that consultation with various stakeholders, including the different power centers, races and religious adherents, women groups, and minorities, be earnestly conducted to bring about inclusiveness and with that peace, security, and sustained economic development for all. From commitment to provide immediate humanitarian assistance and basic amenities such as food, warm clothing, and shelter for the Afghan people, including educational opportunities, training for teachers, academics, collaboration, and government servants training. For this purpose, the international aid organization need to be re-invited and reassured to resume operation. Meanwhile, this morning we already launched a tabung called www.peduli Afghanistan for our crowdfunding platform to encourage our dear brother and sister from Malaysia to contribute and support for the Afghanistan causes. 5, the necessity to have Malaysian-owned media present in Afghanistan to provide updates, accurate and more balanced views about the reality on the ground than relying on the foreign media, some of which may have ulterior motive to demonize the new Afghan leadership and succumb to Islamophobia. 6, the appeal to the government of Malaysia to provide necessary assistance for Malaysian civil societies and non-governmental organizations, NGOs, to provide humanitarian assistance to Afghan people, including the Afghan students who are studying in Malaysia at the moment. 7, seeing the need to appoint a special advisor to advise Malaysian government on Afghanistan affairs and bridge the Afghan-Malaysian engagement. With this, I would like once again to thank to the government, especially to the Foreign Minister Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah, for appointing our chairman, Datuk Ahmad Azam, to be the advisor to the Foreign Minister with regard to Afghanistan. 8, the importance of engaging with the countries of the OIC in order to provide urgent and necessary assistance to the Afghanistan populace, especially in the critical areas such as food supply, health, utilities, infrastructure, education, supply chain, security, and economic development. 9, the urgent need for the international community to not only release all Afghan assets frozen overseas, but also to pay operation damages and fully assist in the rebuilding process. The reconstruction of Afghanistan plan need to be instituted immediately for the sake of justice and avoid a humanitarian catastrophe. With that, I would like to thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you to Mr. Mahfami Samsudin for the presentation of the resolution for our today's conference, as well as leading our final session, the fifth session of today's conference. Distinguished guests,